Hi there, it's Sarah from Inspire Tarot. Welcome to the channel. I hope you're doing well today. The sun is shining again. In your own time, cards. The Hermit. So the Hermit card is all about healing and solitude and doing inner work. And I think sometimes, quite often, we think of the Hermit as being something that we do in sort of physically do, as in we kind of go away from the world and we close ourselves off and we hide in our home or whatever we're doing, and we just take a break from being out in the world. But the Hermit can also represent going back within, and getting back in our right mind internally. So the healing and the solitude and the inner work. The solitude is kind of returning back to the right mind. And it's just something that we can do. It's like a mental state of deciding to disconnect from the chaos of the ego and kind of return to sanity and to our right mind. So yeah, it's a very healing process. And in this card, the lady is guided by the light, which we do need to be guided by the light at all times, otherwise we're lost. And we wouldn't be here in this world if we kind of knew what we were doing. We're clueless. And I think even when we understand right-mindedness, it's still very tempting and easy to fall back into believing in what the ego tells us, because we are kind of very programmed to believe that the external world is real and the physical form is paramount. But the spirit is always reminding us that the physical world is the illusion, and we're to use it to purify the mind, and the mind is not the illusion, the mind is the reality. So yeah, the Hermit card is important just for helping us to correct the mind, which is the inner work. I know I've used to read about inner work. What does inner work mean? But the inner work is returning the mind right side up and healing. So we may need to cry or release anything that's painful and have it reinterpreted and then let it go and not hold on to it. So yeah, I think quite often with the healing journey, it can seem quite mysterious and as if it's, you know, some sort of hugely difficult thing that we need to do. But as we get better and better at it, we understand that it's really quite a simple process. We do something in the world, we see something that upsets us, the spirit will reinterpret it for us and remind us that the form is just to show us what in the mind needs correcting. And then we can correct it in the mind, give it to the spirit, purge out any painful emotions and move on. And that's essentially the process of healing over and over until the mind is purified. And we do get used to the process, for sure. It's good. Page of Pentacles. I keep getting this card over and over. The Page of Pentacles is about being a seeker of truth. So the pages are usually students. They're very interested, very focused and ambitious, very curious and growth oriented. So when we focus very much on our spiritual practice, then everything in the physical world is used to seek the truth. So it may be that we go looking for spiritual texts or something to remind us, or it may be just that we use any physical experience, any practical experience in the world as a vehicle for helping us to see differently and waking up. Every time we experience something painful, we can look at it. What is this showing us in the mind? And not get too attached to the form, because we always, like I said with the first card with the Hermit, we always think the form is the be all and end all, but really that's the byproduct, the vehicle that we use. And the page is all about learning and bringing the mind back. the star is all about having hope and healing. Whenever the star comes out, it shows us that we're on our right path. We're aligned with our purpose. So yeah, the star, we think of the stars as a guiding light, something above us. And we have, the star card brings a lot of faith and hope. It can also bring, it just helps us build trust. So with the star card, we know that healing is quite gradual, because healing quickly is actually, even though we think we desire to heal quickly, it would be too jarring for us, generally speaking. I know in the past when I've sort of said to the spirit, bring it on, and then the spirit does bring it on, and then I'm like, yeah, maybe not that fast. It can be a bit intense at times, especially if we don't feel comfortable feeling our feelings. But the star is all about hope, healing and trust, and about having that optimism and courage to keep going. Because we'll get discouraged and then we'll think, oh, I can't do this. Especially in the early stages of the journey, we feel discouraged and want to give up. But then we just get back on the horse and just keep trying. So the light, we're always being called towards the light, and it's futile to give up. So the star is just a really wonderful symbol for us to keep going, to always keep going, and that it's worth it. And after each little period of upset, we can see it's worth it, and we get a little thrill, and we level up, and it feels good. It does feel good. Judgment. So the Judgment card is all about following our inner calling. And our inner calling, we tend to think about, what's my calling? You know, my calling, we think of it in terms of form goals. You know, what am I supposed to be doing, as in, you know, what vocation am I supposed to be doing? What job am I supposed to be doing? And it may or may not unfold that way. I mean, I've had so many different interests over time. I would say that I'm kind of multi-skilled and multi-passionate, and I've had lots of different things, and I've enjoyed all of them, and I've gleaned a lot from all of them. So yeah, I think there is a tendency to believe that we need to, or certainly when we're growing up, that we need to pick a vocation or a job and stick to it. But that's not true, because what we do doesn't really matter. It's the healing and the learning and the development that it brings us that's important. So the Judgment card is all about rebirth, and a call to action, and just rising up and being accountable. So healing is a full-time, it can be a full-time job. I know I've committed a lot of my time to healing. I've tried to keep my working hours to a minimum, and then focus on reading and studying and just doing anything that helps flush up in the mind what needs to be done to be healed. And we can just follow our bliss, follow our desires and interests in the form, and the spirit can use absolutely everything. So yeah, the Judgment card is all about awakening and just upgrading and integrating. So we're going to go through a rebirth process over and over as we go further and further towards redeeming ourselves. And even though in God's eyes we are redeemed, we don't see that. We have to kind of climb back up the ladder, because God has told us that there is no ladder, you're already in heaven. But that's too much for us to shift from feeling like we're a mere mortal to realizing our divine nature. So we need to accept the light and the love in a little bit at a time, and also peel ourselves out of the dualistic way of thinking and being, because it's completely upside down and back to front. So for us to just let go of it would be too disorientating. It would just be like being hung upside down and being told to think differently. Almost like saying, you know, today you're going to become an elephant and you're going to live as an elephant. It's like, it's too radical for us to embrace. It's just too difficult. So the spirit helps us change our self-concept a bit at a time, in a gentle way. Whoa, cards are dropping. Four of Pentacles. Need to move these over. always straight. It looks straight in front of me, but on the camera it doesn't look straight. Go figure. Right. So yeah, the Four of Pentacles is scarcity mindset, and this is what we're healing. So in our human experience, we believe that we're a mere mortal and we're lacking, and that we have to have something from outside of ourselves to survive. And we think that this is many things. We think that it's food, we think that it's medication, we think that it's approval, we think we need a job in order to have money to survive. But these are all just erroneous beliefs in the mind that the spirit will undo bit by bit, showing us that the whole world is just a fabrication with layers and layers of complexity and effort built into it that we don't need to make, but we feel as though we need to make because we feel guilty. So it makes sense to us that we should have to work to stay alive and do things that are uncomfortable to stay alive. But the spirit is always trying to reprogram us to help us see that actually we need do nothing. We just need a little willingness. Whoa. These two cards want to come out. The Ten of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles. So the Ten of Pentacles is all about happy families. I think on the card it says inheritance, family and property. So our divine inheritance is mental, I would say. Our divine inheritance is understanding that everything is given, and that actually what we're looking for is a feeling, and that feeling doesn't come from anything attached to the form. We think it does, we've been programmed to believe it does, but that's not really where it comes from. So the Ten of Pentacles is all about feeling. To me, the Ten of Pentacles would epitomize feeling at one with everyone and everything, feeling like the whole world is your family. That would be the most kind of one of the most expanded ways you can think of the world. In the Course, Jesus talks about the happy dream or the real world, which is seeing everything as a harmonious whole and understanding that everything is one. So seeing all our brothers and sisters with love and as if they're a part of us, embracing them and not seeing them as separate. Because sometimes we want to see things as separate and think that that's a good thing and that's keeping us safe, but it's actually the reverse. And the ego really does manage to convince us that we're better off without some people. But really, when you think about it from the spirit's perspective, it doesn't make sense, because everybody is divine and everybody has goodness within them. Everybody is good. Maybe not everybody can see it at every moment in time, but it's always there. We're all from the same source. We're all from the light. And when we cut ourselves off from seeing other people in a positive way, then we cut ourselves off from the love that's available from them and through them, and to give to them the opportunities that we would be given by the spirit if we shut ourselves off. So the Eight of Pentacles is a card about being kind of just working very hard and diligently at our craft and focusing. So if we focus very much on our mind training, it may be that we're doing a project in the form or something that benefits humanity, something that makes life more comfortable, creating something new. I've been working with AI recently, and I think this is a fantastic invention where we can use it to help us. It takes the brain power out of things, and the ego will tell us that we're cheating, but really everything should just come. Everything is within the one mind. It's all created by the mind. And really, I would say that the whole world is kind of AI. It's artificial intelligence. Duality is artificial intelligence. A physical world is artificial intelligence, because it's not unified. So it's not created by God. So it's not authentically true. but we can use it. We can use it in a way that's helpful, that makes life easier for humans. So yeah, the lady in this card is just very fastidious and busy with her projects and whatever she's doing. And the qualities of dedication and working hard and being devoted and consistent with our inner work are really helpful. So if we can use this power, this dedication to remember to forgive over and over, then that's our work. And that's very important work. And it does make a difference to the external world that we get to live in, because we reap what we sow. And it's quite miraculous how the world changes, and the experiences that we have and the way that we perceive everything is so much more gentle when we understand what the world is for. Temperance. So the Temperance card is about balance. So we want to put, like I said with the Ace of Pentacles, we want to be putting hard work into our spiritual journey. But another element of the spiritual journey is to rest and rebalance at the same time. We're constantly rejuggling. We know that when we look at cats, they just love to rest and eat and play and sleep. They have a very simple life. It's almost like cats really understand very well how we should be. And the Temperance card is just reminding us to be moderate and to be balanced and just not feel like we need anything. We really don't need anything other than to be in the stillness and remind ourselves that our home is within, in the peace and the quiet. And when we align with that peace and quiet, we actually feel happy and at home, and we know that we don't need anything. That quiet peace. The King of Pentacles says reliable, visionary and generous. Yeah, so the King of Pentacles is very grounded in reality. He's very kind and giving. And he has lots of material resources that he can share and use for good. You can see him here sat on his throne. He's able to use his mind and turn his mind into practical and physical things for the good of all. So yeah, the King of Pentacles is really good this way, a very stable and abundant, generous and resourceful character. Ooh. Just one more card we need now, please, Spirit. The Chariot. So the Chariot is all about moving forward in a successful way, about a journey, success and progress. So looking at this from a spiritual perspective, we can see that we're always moving forwards. Sometimes we feel as though we're moving backwards. In fact, when we're moving forwards on our spiritual journey, often because the spiritual journey is antithetical to the ego, what the ego values, then it actually feels as though we're going backwards. And in the Course, Jesus does say that we can't judge our advances from our retreats. And this is true. So yeah, the Chariot is all about progress and focus and overcoming obstacles. And having that self-belief that we're going in the right direction. Yeah, so I love these cards. very sweet. I like to study them. I think they've got so much on them. Yeah, so I think this was a sweet reading with lots of wonderful insight from the spirit. So I hope it helped, and I love you all. I'll see you again. Bye.